Moreover, we measured their blood lactate and rate of perceived exertion every 4 minutes. And finally, we measured all the client's previously mentioned data post 1 and post 2 minutes. Heart For Max's heart rate, we can see that there is an increase in heart rate across the first 3 to 5 minutes. This is expected at the start of the exercise due to the rise in heart rate at the start of exercise. However, after the first 4 minutes of exercise, Max's heart rate continues to rise, which is shown on the graph with an increase from 108 to 186 beats per minute in between minute 4 and minute 6. 187 beats per minute is out of his training zone of 80%, and he is most likely working at 90%. According to normative data, at 4 minutes we should see a plateau of heart rate, not a rise. For the following 4 minutes of exercise, Max's heart rate starts to plateau, which is shown by the line graph leveling. At 10 minutes, Max's heart rate finally drops down into his sub-maximal training zone of 170 beats per minute. And this has stayed almost consistently for the rest of exercise. It doesn't go above 173 beats per minute for the remaining 10 minutes. Finally, Max's heart rate begins to drop back down quickly during post 1 and 2 minutes of exercising, dropping down to 142 beats per minute post-exercise. Throughout the first 4 to 6 minutes of exercise, Summer's heart rate increases steadily from resting at 75 beats per minute up to 174 beats per minute. In comparison to normative data, this is expected to happen at the initial stage of steady-state exercise. However, instead of a plateau and remaining at 174 beats per minute, which is her sub-maximal training zone, from 6 to 10 minutes her heart rate increases up to 183 beats per minute. As a result of this, she is warned and slows down because at 12 minutes it returns back to 174 beats per minute and doesn't increase much higher than this for the rest of the exercise, apart from one random jump or anomaly up to 189 beats per minute at 16 minutes, which is clearly shown on the graph. Finally, Josh's heart rate throughout the exercise is a constant anomaly. One reason for this being is from his resting heart rate being recorded at 105 beats per minute due to his warm-up being too intense. O2 saturation data. At the beginning of exercise, both Max and Summer follow normative data as their heart rates are at 99% for Summer and 98% for Max. However, data for Josh does not follow with normative data, as his O2 saturation starts at 97%, which may be because of the intensity of the warm-up Josh did before the exercise. 10 minutes into the exercise, both Josh and Max's data is at 97%, which does not correlate with normative data and suggests that they are not working aerobically, whereas Summer drops down to 98%, suggesting she is working aerobically, as seen by normative data. At completion of the exercise, Summer and Josh's data is at 97%, which again does not correlate with normative data as they are not working aerobically, whereas Max is at 99%, suggesting that he is working aerobically at the completion of exercise. According to normative data, O2 saturation should remain constant throughout the duration of the exercise. Normative data also states that O2 saturation should decrease slightly to the use of the anaerobic energy system, but should then rise back up to 99 or 98%. This is seen in Josh's data, as there is an increase from 2 minutes to 4, but may also be incorrect as his O2 saturation also rose in comparison to prior exercise at 2 minutes. Max and Summer's results do not show this, but normative data also states that this is not common in all athletes, and therefore may be the reason we did not see a plateau during the exercise. Breathing rate data. According to normative data, during steady-state exercise, breathing rate should increase at the start and plateau throughout the rest of the exercise, until post-exercise where it will drop sharply due to the presence of oxygen. All participants have an initial increase in breathing rate due to the start of exercise, which varies for each client. For example, after 6 minutes, Max's heart rate is at 42 breaths per minute, whereas Summer and Josh's are a lot lower down at 29 and 26 breaths per minute. This may show that Max is working a lot harder in comparison to the two other clients. Normative data states the breathing rate should plateau at around 5 minutes into exercise due to the body's systems reaching the demands of the exercise. However, looking at this data, there is a real change in rates of breathing throughout the 20 minutes of exercise. Summer's breathing rate is on a continuous increase throughout the 20 minutes. Max's remains at around 44 to 47 breaths per minute, which does show a slight plateau, but his breathing rate is again too high. Josh's data varies with a drop at 4 minutes and continues to rise until 6 minutes. Post-exercise, all participants have a decrease in breathing rate because the body does not need as much oxygen, and therefore the rate of breathing can decrease. RPE data. The rating of perceived exertion shows no correlation between participants individually, although some participants have correlations with other participants. The RPE recorded from each participant was higher than expected during steady-state exercise, which should be within the range of 10 to 12 on the scale, although from 4 minutes into the exercise until completion, all clients' RPE was 10 or above. This indicates that clients may have been working anaerobically instead of aerobically. Normative data also suggests that the RPEs should stay fairly similar, as their bodies have already met the demands for the exercise and will therefore no longer need to change. Josh's data shows his RPE increases throughout the exercise, meaning he never met steady state. Although Josh did have a heart rate of 105 beats per minute prior to the exercise, due to his warm-up, which may mean that the exercise was more difficult for him. Max's data increases until 8 minutes, where his RPE then decreases until 16 minutes, where it is then steady for the rest of the exercise. Agreeing with normative data, but at too late a stage in his exercise, to be seen as a correlation. Finally, Summer's RPE data also did not correlate, as between her RPE increases and decreases throughout exercise, and is also above the RPE range and 10 to 12, implying that she may have been working anaerobically. The only correlation in her data, similar to Max, is at the end of the exercise, where her RPE at 18 minutes and 20 minutes are the same. Blood lactate data. Both Summer and Max have an increase in lactate levels at 2 minutes into the exercise, Max by 16.2 and Summer by about 12.4. This may be because they are both working using the anaerobic energy system due to not having enough oxygen at the working muscles. Normative data shows that when working aerobically, it should take no longer than 3 minutes for lactate levels to plateau. Despite this, Summer and Max's lactate levels do not decrease until 4 minutes, suggesting that the clients were working at a higher intensity than they should have been to be at steady state exercise, meaning the plateau took longer to occur. Josh's lactate, on the other hand, only has an increase of 0.5% and is closer to normative data, although it is not quite right, as normative data states that blood lactate should decrease slightly to be working aerobically. Although normative data shows this due to Josh's high heart rate prior to exercise, this could indicate he is working aerobically. Blood pressure levels. Due to an error during the exercise, Josh's data could not be recorded. The data from the test does not show any patterns or correlations and therefore does not follow normative data. Summer's blood pressure has also been recorded as dangerously low, but she has no past history or any signs of low blood pressure as she plays sport regularly. All data recorded has faults and more anomalies than results, and therefore I will not use it when talking about the results the test had and cannot draw any conclusions from this.